Are you listening? Damn.
Welcome to another edition of AFC North, coming to you live from 4 different parts of the world. And I'm saying this because, first of all, prayers for everybody in Florida. Be safe.
We're about to lose to Middle Tennessee State. That's what's happening to us right now.
two of our co-hosts are in Florida, right? You all know this, Ace and Tony. So we might or may not, hopefully we may not lose Tony and Ace. Ace
not forever, just for the night. Let's make that clear. Like, let's not. Yeah. I don't think it's that dire. I hope it's not that dire.
If Tony's box flies to the top right corner of the screen, just send the prayers in chat.
I may lose power. I may lose internet at some point during tonight's broadcast because.
He's definitely losing internet at some point. That's on wires, like.
Yeah.
Or you got fiber, or do you got cable?
No, we got cable. Okay. Internet goes out here sometimes when it just rains too hard. So
really, because cable be more stable. Like the phone line stuff. Oh man, when I had AT&T, my internet used to go out when somebody farted too loud next to the phone. Like it just be like boom, bye internet for like 30 minutes.
Soul Train, shout out to you, man. Thank you for the donation. Hope my fellow Floridians stay safe in Orlando
I'm right there with you.
Middle Tennessee out here.
See what it looks like. It's been very gloomy all day, but it seems like this thing it's maybe like 2 or 3 hours away from hitting here. So, depending on how long tonight's show is, we
Florida, Miami lost to Middle Tennessee for real.
Yeah. That's what I was saying at the beginning. Hurricanes, we're getting hurricaned over here.
Stephen Ross gets his wish. Tom Brady is in Miami. I get noticed that you never cease to surprise me how you can always find a way to get.
But speaking of the Middle Tennessee State loss, by the way, I don't know if you saw this, Q, but Tyler Van Dyke got benched in that game. He was supposed to be like the third or fourth, in a quarterback.
Yeah, I was gonna go watch him when they play Georgia Tech because he's supposed to be good, but now I don't think I have to do that anymore, right?
Seems like he's going to be transferring soon, and he'll be playing another year of college. So, like this quarterback class, which is supposed to be so great, it just keeps dwindling down. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel. I
feel like if I were a team that needs a quarterback this year, CJ Stroud, I like him enough. Yeah. He's definitely worth a first-round pick. Bryce Young, all the intangibles in the world. He's just so skinny that it makes
small.
Me, it makes me nervous about him. But if he works, he works.
Yeah, mine was very skinny coming out.
Yeah, but he's not Lamar though.
Yeah. I think he's short too, right? Isn't he only like he's like 6 feet or 6'1"?
Foot. Yeah, he's probably like 6 foot, short, like not big.
Yeah.
But Caleb Williams, on the other hand.
Yeah, Caleb looks
he has one more year, right?
Yeah, he got one more year though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he can't come out in this. Yeah, that's right. Richardson's the one that could come out this year, but I don't think Richardson's coming out either.
By the way, I don't know if you guys saw the news, but Quincy's boy McCorkle. Done for the year.
He's out for the year.
Oh, he's out for the year.
That's what I heard. He was
They
supposedly a severe sprain, right?
Is he going to Baker?
I heard
not going to play injured.
What? I thought last night I heard he was done for the year.
No, he's not done for the year. He's going to miss several games, but he's not done for the year. Okay.
Then, fake news. Thank you. Fake news.
Let's say I got Mac Jones on my fantasy team, and it's a complete waste right now because he has the same bye week as my starter, Lamar Jackson. I didn't think about this shit when I did the draft.
And by the way, also shout out to our top tier Patreon, Adam Holland, Dom Gasulo. Thank you for that. And I need to figure out how to make the other league. So we're gonna.
Oh, is everybody out?
Oh yeah, there was one win after 3 weeks. Literally one winner. Sole survivor, one winner.
Everybody, the damn Chiefs did it right. Sorry ass Chiefs. Yeah. I'm starting my vendetta on the Chiefs now. You know, last year I was hating on the Bengals for getting me out that league because they lost to the damn Jets. And I'm still kind of mad at the Bengals because they lost to the Jets last time. I did not pick them when I would have picked them in my pick 'em. But now, since I couldn't go with them, I went with the damn Chiefs over the sorry Colts, and they couldn't beat the Colts.
Don't doubt Matty Ice.
I'm saying Patrick Mahomes is overrated. He can't beat old ass Matt Ice. Come on now, overrated. No, oh yeah, he's better without Tyreek Hill. Remember that one for 2 weeks when people were saying that the last. The offense is more dangerous without the best player in the world. Come on now. It's sorry ass Chiefs. I hope Andy Reid gets fired. All that hype. They got one Super Bowl. You would think they got like 4 of them the way they talk out. Sorry.
I said that to somebody at work once. I said, like, we have to talk about the Chiefs with all this hype. And for the past at least 5 years, they made it to 2. They only won 1.
Let's be real. Patrick Mahomes choked last year in the AFC Championship. He choked in the Super Bowl the year before. Fraud watch. We gonna make Lamar fraud watch because he can't win in the playoffs. Fraud watch.
You're taking this Survivor League loss pretty hard.
Fraud watch.
Try to say Matty Ice, dude. Matty Ice.
You know what? Was he ever good, or was he a product of Tyreek Hill? I want to know because Tua look good now. Tua out here putting up Pat Mahomes numbers. I'm joking. I am joking. People are gonna take this shit serious. I am joking.
You're getting clipped.
They are. They're clipping this, and they're gonna
clip it. And then when the Chiefs, if we don't play the Chiefs this year, so you know what? I'm gonna go all in on the slander.
Oh, Ace does.
Ace played Chiefs. Yeah, they because they wanted to finish in first place last year.
Yeah,
that's right. First place schedule.
Okay, let's get it started. Let's talk about Browns in the Atlanta over there. Quincy's gonna be live in that game. Mariota looks to be comfortable in the scheme that they're running over there for him, which is good. The problem with Mariota is he's about to get hurt at some point, right? Sadly, because that usually when he plays, he tends to get nicked.
Damn, Sonny.
Yeah, that's rough. But I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Like
you didn't have to say it like that, though.
That's the problem with him. I don't hate him.
Also, I don't think Ravens fans should be.
I know. Let's put Marcus Mariota and Jadeveon Clowney on the Ravens and see if that reverse engineers all of this.
Yeah. No, we just lost Michael Pierce for the year. Anyway,
damn. Who y'all gonna lose next week?
I don't know.
Y'all running out of dudes to lose.
Yeah, we are.
Defense, man.
Hugh, what do you think about this game?
This is one of those games. I'm wearing Falcons colors by accident. This is one of those games. This is one of those games where it's actually what I think of is like it's the pointing Spider-Man meme, right? Because both these teams are kind of doing the similar thing where it's like, oh, we thought the defense was going to carry this team for a little bit at the beginning of the season, and the offense was going to be Tukey. But it's been the other way around for both teams, right? Cordero Patterson, he had like 120 something yards last week. They've been able to move the ball offensively. But the big difference between the Falcons and the Browns, one, I think there's a level of personnel difference there. But 2, I think the big difference is Marcus Mariota has made the big mistakes in 2 of those losses where you could argue Jacoby has not, even though he threw technically the game-sealing interception in a game where the Browns defense gave up a 13-point lead in 80 seconds. Like, I think the blame is squarely on the defensive side of the ball there. But that's been a big difference is that the quarterback has made those mistakes for Atlanta where that has not happened yet for Cleveland. Now, again, this is not definite. Jacoby Brissett's not Tom Brady, right? It's not going to not happen just because he's Jacoby Brissett. But that doesn't mean it will happen just because he's Jacoby Brissett. So that's been a big difference. We'll see what happens with Myles Garrett coming back from that car crash. Thankfully, he's okay. I don't know if you guys remember 2014, Cam Newton got in a worse car accident than this. It was a pickup truck. He got flipped like 6 times, crawled out of it, had to get stretchered out, fractured his vertebrae, broke his back, right? When you fracture your vertebrae, played against the Browns like 6 days later, put like 300 on us in a touchdown. Helps to play Johnny Manziel. But that's the only time I could think of where somebody has come back from a similar amount of rest from this and played. It doesn't look like he experienced any serious injuries, but I mean, a car crash like that's going to do more mentally than it is going to do physically if you get out of it, right? So we'll see where he's at with his head and playing level. But That's going to be kind of the factor, right? Can the Falcons stop the run? That's going to be it's going to be tough, right? This is a run defense is not bad, but I would argue Pittsburgh probably better equipped to stop the run, because whatever Pittsburgh does against the Browns, like that's the one team they can always stop the run against, which is ironically the best team in the NFL at running the ball. Like Mike Tomlin just figures it out for that 1 week and then throws it out for the rest of the year. But Pittsburgh, they always give the Browns trouble running the ball, and I felt like the Jets and the Carolina Panthers would give the Browns a lot of trouble running the ball too. They've been able to run on those guys. I think they'll be able to run on the Atlanta Falcons. Also, the corner situation for them, it's AJ Terrell, and who else? Is AJ Terrell and old ass Casey Hayward, right? AJ Terrell and Casey Hayward. That ain't been looking good over there, right? So again, if it's going to be a question of, hey, what's Atlanta going to do? Because this is a situation where the Browns played three teams that felt like good about their corner situation so far, right? DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner, and then Pittsburgh felt good about their corner situation. Same thing with the Carolina Panthers. This is the first team that doesn't feel great about their corner situation. Do they feel comfortable stacking that box and leaving those guys in man coverage, basically, against Amari Cooper one-on-one with maybe a safety over top, right? Because they're going to want to move somebody into the box to get to that 8 number. So is that a matchup thing they want to do? If so, can Amari Cooper take advantage of AJ Terrell, who has not played well against physical route runners like himself? Or is this going to be a situation where Atlanta says, hey, we're just going to spread this out, and if the run kills us, the run kills us? Now, that's a bold strategy to take against a team that's more efficient running the ball than throwing it. So I think we know how this is the direction this is going to go in. But I still think that this is a good matchup for the Browns offense. Defensively for this team, the Panthers, the Falcons can attack vertically. That does concern me a little bit. The Browns are going to be stressed in their communication lines. They're going to be stressed in their zone discipline. They have to be disciplined there. If they're disciplined, they'll be good. If they're not disciplined, it'll be more of what we saw the last few weeks. I think ultimately the Browns are a better team. They match up better against the Falcons. They should win this game. Now, again, the big one is, hey, if Myles Garrett not there, I don't know what happens to the offensive game plan for the Falcons, right? Because you're talking about Myles and Clowney not being there. I mean, they might not have to throw the ball, right? They might just run it all over you because it's going to be Isaac Rochelle and Alex Wright out there. And nobody's flipping cover. Nobody's flipping line for those two guys, unfortunately, right? So, Myles Garrett not being there, that matters, right? If he's there, it changes everything for Atlanta. If him and Clowney are there, that changes everything dramatically. And if they're both not there, so they're coming up with 3 game plans, basically, on what they're going to do about that whole situation. But I still think if Myles is out there, this should be a win for the Browns. If Myles is not out there, this becomes a booty butt cheek clinch game. You know what I mean? Like whoever has it last basically is going to win this game. So it'll be a toss up at that point, but that's kind of how I feel about it going in. It really does appear that Myles is going to play in this game from all indications, from everything I've heard.
That he will not, or that he will?
He will play in this game. He at least feels like he's going to play. Okay. I don't know if the team's going to let him play. That'll be a different conversation. But he feels like he can play.
Okay. It's interesting because I check Atlanta a little bit. Obviously, I haven't scouted Atlanta. We don't play against Atlanta for a while. Kyle Pitts. I remember getting all this flag when I said Kyle Pitts was not going to be the best tight end in that draft class. And the reason why I said it was different, that he was not the best tight end. I thought he was a wide receiver. My biggest problem was Atlanta drafting him when they have so many holes. And it looks like they don't know how to utilize Kyle Pitts. I'll be surprised if Quincy is not sitting there coming on Monday. This is
one. I mean, it should be 4-0 too. It really should be 4-0.
Yeah, it should be 4-0.
It should be 4-0.
We'll see what the charges are when we play them, and then
they're breaking apart. But
I'm just saying, we get the 5 wins before week 7. Oh man, boy, it's gonna be. And you ain't gonna be able to tell me nothing. I've hit my quota at that point.
That's right. Exactly.
That's right. But I think, I mean, the little that I watched from Atlanta, the only way the Browns can lose this game is if the Browns beat themselves. Because even if Atlanta plays well on offense, let's assume Atlanta plays well on offense, they have no answer for the Browns running attack. And then on that running attack, they can control time of possession. They can control the pace of the game. And then Jacoby Brissett can just vibe and control and manage the game. And it's not like Atlanta has great corners against Cooper has been killing it for the past 2 weeks. Like Cooper looks amazing, right? So they don't have any answer for Cooper. And Njoku, what is the answer for Njoku? And they add the running game. Again, even if Atlanta plays a decent offense, let's say Atlanta scores 21. The Browns can score 28 easy on them, right? So I'm going Browns. I don't know what is the line, Tony. 3.5.
No. This is in Atlanta. So the line is Browns by 1.5.
Oh, take that. I think.
By the way,
but this, and I think this shows you that because they had the exact. I mean, this is basically the exact same matchup they had against Carolina, right? Where it's like on the road against a team that they should beat. And remember, in that game, it was Panthers by 1.5, so it's kind of flipped by 4 points. So
I'll take
3 points.
By the way, Sonny, one of the things you mentioned, right? Amari Cooper been running routes hard. I've noticed that too. Like he's running way harder than I've seen him in Dallas. And I listened to his interview he had with Cam. What's his name? Cam. He hates Big Ben. He's in New Orleans. What's his name?
Oh, Cam Jordan.
Cam Jordan. Yeah, Mr. Big Ben's not a Hall of Famer. And Mark Ingram, right? It's a very good podcast because they're both very interesting. Mark Ingram's hilarious.
He's a great person.
The Jameis episode is the greatest podcast.
Oh yeah, that's great. That like all of them are good because Mark Ingram, like if there's an Alabama player on that podcast, Mark Ingram brings out every stat like known to man that man's ever had. But he was talking to Amari Cooper, and everybody all year was like, "Oh man, the Browns don't have anybody except for Amari Cooper in that wide receiver room." And Amari Cooper was clearly like, "Yo, the Browns don't got anybody but me in this room. It's time." He was talking about, "I'm excited for these targets, boy. I'm ready for."
Yeah, he looks good. He looks inspired. Like in Dallas, one thing that the games that I watch for him in Dallas. Most of the time, he looks uninterested.
It's Allen Robinson syndrome, right? Because sometimes you just need to be the only one to get the targets to feel like you can perform at that level. Like it's just some dudes like being in the stack wide receiver room. The Bengals are fortunate; they got 3 dudes who are those dudes that don't mind being those dudes with other dudes. Other wide receivers are like, "Nah, G, I need this to be me out here." Yeah. He explained why he went to Alabama. He was like, all 3 of their starters were leaving, and Florida State had 2. So I was going to Alabama, right? Like Amari is one of those dudes where he wants to be the guy, and that's where he will produce the most, And some guys thrive in that. I think Allen Robinson is probably one of those dudes. You put Allen Robinson on the Ravens, he probably would produce. That's the thing about it. You put him on the Rams.
Cooper Cup.
Yeah, sometimes he ain't gonna run them curl routes. You know what I mean? Backside digs. If he ain't getting it, he not running it.
Tony. By the way, before Tony, the poll is up. If you want to vote Browns or Falcons, Tony, what is your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think like you guys, I think the expectation is obviously the Browns should be able to win this football game, given that, what they've done offensively really through those first 3 weeks of the season has been super impressive. Given that, they've really just kind of dictated what they're going to do offensively, and no one's really been able to put them into a situation where, they're uncomfortable, right? Meaning they're uncomfortable offensively. They have to deviate from this kind of, we're going to run this thing through Chubb and Hunt, and then we're going to kind of let the passing game kind of build off of that. It's third manageable, right? It's play action on first and second down or it's, it's the ability to, like they did last week, to say, okay, if you're going to come out and base against our 11, we're just going to spread you out and win that way. And I think like you guys, it just, I look at Atlanta. I think you guys are probably I like AJ Terrell. I know he played really well last year. I haven't watched his tape this year, so it would be interesting to me if he's kind of fallen off. But he may be someone who I think could give Cooper a run for his money in this game. But regardless, right? I mean, even if, let's say that they did shut down Amari Cooper, right? Does that mean that this game goes? It's like advantage
shuts down the running game.
Right, exactly. And so, the only way that this game gets interesting to me, and as I was digging into the numbers, I was just so intrigued by Atlanta's offensive numbers. I just kept everything, all the advanced stats have them as a top 10 offense. And then I thought, okay, well, it's got to be like top 10 running game. And no one, like I said the other week, like no one's a good running game in the league anymore. So that's probably where, like, if you dig in further, no, it's passing game. Like the Mariota, and they've been really efficient offensively through guys like Drake London and Kyle Pitts. And I know that the stats aren't gaudy, but they've just been really efficient in those kind of, the money downs, as Mike Tomlin always called them, those situational plays. This team has put up points every single week. I mean, the numbers don't lie in that way. They haven't won, but I think that they put up 27, 26, all year. So I guess, Sonny, in your way of like, how does this game ever get interesting? I think it's interesting if Atlanta can come out and dictate early, like win the toss, elect to receive, score, right? Touchdown, 7-0, and then stop Cleveland in any way, right? Punt or field goal, and then score again, right? And I'll say now it's 14-0. We've never seen the Browns in that game here, right? Like I said, the Browns have dictated game flow in every game they've been in. Mm-hmm. If there was the only way for me this gets any interesting is in that case, right, where Atlanta dictates game flow.
If Atlanta does that and starts running the ball well, meaning they go up and then they control the time of possession with Patterson, then right, and then you also have Patterson that can return one, obviously. Right. So that is a scenario, but we're talking about almost like the perfect storm. Although that happens,
exactly.
I mean, I think Atlanta don't get more than one of those a year.
Right. Atlanta, I think, is capable enough offensively, but yeah, I mean, I think injury is going to play a big part in this game too. I was looking at Cleveland's practice report today, and it's like, basically, half the team didn't practice, but it's only Wednesday, so it's impossible at this point to say, Bitonio didn't practice, right? JOK didn't practice today. Miles Garrett, it's like no one practiced today. It's like, okay, if everyone who didn't practice today is out, like this gets interesting because like you said, like okay, defensively, maybe Atlanta can run up and down the field with them. And then there's the case, I guess, from another kind of how does this game play out? If both teams are able to run the ball, right? I mean, if both offenses are kind of able to go on long, sustained drives, then we just get into like a fourth quarter, who's going to screw it up, who has ball last type situation of like it's a close game because we're just limiting the number of possessions, so no one can really get to a big lead, and then you play it down to you play it down the stretch.
6-minute 14 play punt drives.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, exactly. It's like if we start playing that kind of style of football, then of course, at the end of the game, they could win that game. But I'll take, I will, like you guys, I will lay the points. Only 1.5 for Cleveland right now. Does feel like the lines aren't catching up to, I think, how good this Cleveland team is, specifically on offense. And so I will lay the points and take Cleveland. I would probably be more tempted to take the over as well, just because I do think both teams are going to be able to move the ball. Let me check the over under in this game, because that may be.
In the meantime, shout out to you, Real Deal. I don't see your question, but if you had a question, make sure you tag AFC North.
Take the under in this one.
What's the number?
It's 49.5. Like they're expecting. Yeah, 49.5.
That's what I would think it would be, because they've both been able to score. Like they're both in the top 5 of points per game, right?
Exactly. So I'll take the under in this one, because I'm on principle taking every under in the league. That's it's my new thing. I'm on principle taking every under because we're in a low scoring league.
You took every under. Well, you took the under last week for the Steelers, right?
No, I didn't bet the under last week.
Okay, you didn't bet the under. All right.
Okay, Ace.
I had George Pickens over 22.5 receiving yards.
He got it all in that one catch.
Yeah, right? He got it all in that one play. I was like, all right, good. Easy win.
No more screens.
Yeah, for me in this game, I think it is very interesting. These are two teams that do, ironically, just from a play style, offensively, really mirror each other. They're guys that run the ball, they don't pass that much, but when they do pass, they're efficient, right? They're both top 10 scoring offenses. That kind of blew my mind as well. As Tony said, when you look at Atlanta's offense, you're not assuming that this is a top 10 offense. You talk about Marcus Mariota. Yes, they have the capability with Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Cordero Patterson, who kind of flashed and found his feet at the running back position last season. But I think in this game, the biggest thing that stands out to me is the Falcons aren't as good against the run as far as defending it as the Browns are. The Browns are in the top 10 right now. So if you're going into a game where who's going to stop who on the ground, I definitely favor the Browns in that one. I mean, they're not bad when it comes to it. They're just kind of in the middle of that aspect. Another thing that I think that this game really comes down to, turnovers, right? The Browns have not really turned the ball over. If you look at their giveaways per game, it's like 0.3. They're first in the league. They don't really give the ball away or turn it over. That could be an interception. That could be a fumble, right? That's not something that they do. Atlanta, on the other hand, they are giving it away. They're giving it away at a pretty decent clip. If you want to have reference for that, if you're just thinking about that Joe Burrow game against the Steelers, they're right behind him in terms of that average at 2.73 per game that they're giving the ball away. So this is, to me, why the Falcons have been losing. If I'm going in banking on the numbers, I think Cleveland has the edge there as well when it comes to that. The other thing that's big to me in this game, though, is Myles Garrett going to play? Is Jadeveon Clowney going to play? The reason why I say that that's a huge factor is Atlanta's given up a lot of sack percentage. Like, that's one of their weaknesses as well. And if you don't have your key edge rushers in there, that gives them more time and that puts less pressure on them to cause some of those turnovers. I think Myles will play, but that's something I think to keep an eye on. I'm still confused how Atlanta is averaging 26 per game this junction. But I think even with them being at home, still favor Cleveland in this game. I think Cleveland is going to be able to create some takeaways, some turnovers game, and they're going to be able to run the ball. And I think that they're going to do well stopping them and in that run game. That's something that I don't gotten enough credit for this season. Like, we've always talked about, hey, they need to fix that interior. They need to get the run deep right. They've been doing that so far this season. And so I favor the Browns in this one. I think them shutting down a run, forcing turnovers is going to be a key for them beating the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay. Rody here says Cleveland Browns have the Detroit Lions of the AFC. Both teams have had an 0-16 season, and neither of them had ever been to the Super Bowl. Okay. Look, Tony left. I don't know if Tony is coming back. We are presented by True Classic. I don't have the ad read here, but I'll tell you, but just by experience. I use True Classic. They send us, all of us, their shirt. Premium shirt, great shirts. They fit well. Whoops. Wait, that's not how we wanted to do it. They fit well. They fit good on the shoulders, on the neck, and then they obviously give you a little bit of grace in your belly area.
Let's do a full breakdown side by side. Real quick. You see how that other shirt, right? It droops in this triangular form. Your body is not an upside down triangle, but this one that other shirt got you looking like a pine cone. Like, I'm about to hang up some ornaments on you because you look like a Christmas tree right now. You look triangular as hell right there, right? You look at the other side, that look like a man. That look like a human being, right? It's built for the human, not a triangle, not a rig, right? The shoulders, the sleeves are tapered to you. It's rectangular. It makes you look better, makes you feel better. Look how much more confident that brother is right there in the True Classic shirt versus that Walmart shirt that they put him in the other one. Look like he got a garbage bag on him. Don't be walking around with the garbage bag fit with the shirt to get all sweaty, got your armpits all exposed. Look, with them shirts too. If you a bigger brother, you get the titty sweat right there. At the chest area. What if your love of your life walks in, you got one of them other brand shirts on? You gonna holler at her? No, you're gonna be right there lonely, waiting for another chance. Wear that True Classic shirt, stay ready, because now all of a sudden she pop in, you ready to go. That's why you gotta invest in your shirts, because you never know when the moment is gonna come where there's a shot you gotta take. And you don't want boob sweat and a triangular fit on when that day comes. Get the right shirt. Get the True Classic.
And they come in all sizes from small to double XL. I think it is the highest. And the other thing is they're very soft. They're great material. They're just great shirts. I remember my wife was like, "Oh, you look good. That's a new shirt." I'm like, yes, one of the new ones sponsoring it. They're great shirts. I definitely recommend. Promo code AFC North Talk is under in the description. Also, the link to True Classic. Shout out to True Classic for sponsoring this show and for presenting both shows in the week. Okay,
if you guys have your shirt on, definitely a picture of it and tag the AFC North Talk Twitter. We'd love to see you in that True Classic merch. We appreciate it. Might be doing something special for someone. So check that out. Check out Twitter, tweet us, wear that shirt, keep the titty sweat off of you, like Quincy said, and get right with True Classic.
Let us see that true difference with True Classic. Ooh, boy, they should hire me more. You know what I mean? True difference with True Classic. That's the true difference right there.
Yeah. Okay. Tony sent a message that he might be back here between 15 to 30 minutes. So let me transition to the Bengals. The Bengals is a Thursday night game. And by the way, Ace, I don't know if I forgot. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little upset that the Bengals are a Thursday night game because they did play the Ravens. And I'm like, okay, they got a tough opponent for Thursday, but we got a tough opponent for Sunday. And now they get a little bye, and we have to have the shorter week. So this is me being petty. But anyway, Thursday night games. Hard does favor the home team. Tua coming from that whatever it was, right? Because it seems like hush-hush might be a concussion. Hush-hush might be the back. Hush-hush might be the hips. What do you see at this game? Obviously, they had the receivers out there. The Bengals defense has been playing well. Not only well, it's been consistently well. What do you think happens in this game?
Yeah, this game is going to be, I think, probably their toughest one of the season thus far, right? You talk about a hot Miami team that nobody saw coming out the gates at 3-0. Like, I thought that they'd be a good team. Don't get me wrong. I thought that they'd actually be a 10-win team, but I don't think anyone expected them to get off to the start that they've gotten to, especially with a new head coach. They bring in Tyreek Hill, but they've really done some things over there. You know, you talk about Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Is that one of the top dynamic duos in the NFL? I'd say yes. I mean, we saw what they did in the Ravens game. We saw them be effective in all three games. This is a game where you're not going to shut those guys down, but you have to slow them down. You can't let those guys get out of control like they did, especially when it comes to the deep passes and the deep bombs from this team. It's an explosive offense that can get turned on at any time. Very similar to the Bengals last year, right? You talk about Jamar Chase, you talk about T. Higgins, those guys being able to explode at the moment. This is going to be one that I think is going to challenge the offense. It's going to be a game where the offense has to come ready to play because Miami isn't a team that you can get behind on. And I think that the Bengals are actually well suited for this game for a number of reasons, right? They are familiar with Tyreek Hill. Now, this is him in a new system, but they have Lou Anarumo essentially knows how to play against Tyreek Hill. You talk about those two games against the Chiefs last season. They didn't have issues there. The issue is Lou has never really, in my opinion, seen two guys that are that fast, that dynamic at the same time. So how will they play them? As long as Cheeto is on one of them, I think it may be possibly Tyreek Hill or Waddle. I think that they should be good there. Eli will to see how he plays the game. If the Bengals are going to run what defenses have done to them with too high. We saw a little Tampa 2 last week. Maybe that is possibly their strategy. We'll have to see what they use in this game. But other than that, I think one of the things that has to remain for the Bengals is not letting Joe Burrow see that pressure, right? You talk about a Miami defense. They got Melvin Ingram coming in. He seems to really be back and have some pep in his step. I don't know if it was because he had the Achilles injury and now he's fully back after, I believe, 2 seasons. But he's playing out. Now, he's not a Micah Parsons. He's not a TJ Watt. But you cannot allow this Miami defensive line to have their way with Joe Burrow because, as we've seen in the past, that is a recipe for disaster. That's what teams are going to do. Then we have to see if Miami themselves are going to run a Tampa 2 to cover 2 and what they have in store for that strategy. The Bengals have to come to play with that. Now, when we talk about the running offense, Joe Mixon has been struggling. We'll have to see what we can do in the run game, how that improves, if they're going to get more snaps, if they're going to be more creative. I still feel like those inside runs are just netting nothing, especially when Joe Mixon is in there. So we'll have to balance, I think, a mix of the run and pass. But limiting the turnovers, that's always a key to football. Can't have those. And on defense, you got to get Tua into some of those situations where he may be forcing things, where he may be prone to turnover. And I think if you get pressure on him, that's going to be a key. But they've got Teron Armstead now, right? Like, these teams really mirror each other because they both didn't have the greatest offensive lines. Both went out and tried to add some pieces to those lines. But Teron Armstead versus my man Hendrickson is going to be a key. And then from a run defense standpoint, now that you have DJ Reader out for a significant amount of time, you're going to have to stop that rushing offense because their coach is from the Kyle Shanahan school of coaching, which means they like to establish the run. They like to set up the pass with the run, right? So you're going to have to stop that. If you stop that, that's going to be an issue as well. I see the Bengals coming out and rising to the occasion. They know that this game, they know they have Baltimore next week. These are games that they have to get. They definitely have to get this one at least. And so I think that the Bengals are able to narrowly pull this one out. I think this is going to be an exciting Thursday night game. I think the last time we saw these two guys play against each other, LSU, Alabama, it was a crazy game. I think this game could be the same. I don't know how much defense is going to get played in this one, but I got the Bengals taking this one. I probably have them by 3 points. Maybe it's 33-30 Bengals.
Okay, I will say this:
the white stripes, man.
Yeah, they go with the
white stripes. We can't take an L with the all whites.
You know it can't never come back if you lose by like 30. Like that's the thing when your team do something cool and you like, oh man, I can't wait. But then they drop that fat L, and you like, boy, we ain't never gonna see this shit again. Oh man.
The one thing I will say about Miami, this might get me in trouble. I don't know. I think Miami's a little overhyped. Go check their games. And I hate doing this, but if you take the one quarter against Baltimore, right? Their offense was meh. You go check the Patriots game, that offense was not great. You go check the Buffalo game, that offense was not great. Buffalo, New England, I'm going to remove Baltimore. Buffalo, New England are strong defense, right? They're strong defense. I think here, I think this is gonna be not as good as a game as most of us expected. I think Miami's coming with a lot of confidence, which is cool. I like the team overall. I think this offense is riding on the fact that they threw 6 touchdowns against Baltimore, and then obviously just beat Buffalo. Right, so those are 2 impressive wins.
And the game with Buffalo was fumbling the whole fourth quarter.
But people are talking like this offense is Cincinnati, which kind of is because they're not efficient, right? So in that respect, they are, but they're not lethal as people are talking about. Like, oh my God, they're just gonna kill you with points. No, I think. If your safety plays good and your safeties are disciplined, I don't know if Tua can find those deep holes necessarily. And basically how you play Miami is just discipline. Tyreek is going to get his. As soon as he gets it, make sure you tackle him. Don't try to do nothing special. Rush the passer. Obviously, Tua's hurt, so you need to test his mobility. That would be something that the Bengals should do. Thursday night game at home. And again, I think Miami's a little overhyped. Not that they're a bad team. People are talking like they're the second best team in the league. I think the Bengals win by a little bit more than a touchdown. I'm not going to predict the booty beatdown. I'm not predicting that. But I think
you feel it, though. I think you feeling it.
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't want to put that over there. I don't want to put that energy over there. But I think the Bengals win by 10. I think the defense, the one thing I can see is they start running on the Bengals. If they start running on the Bengals, that is when this game can turn. If they don't run well against the Bengals, yes, I think it's going to be a comfortable game. And on offense, that's the other thing. That's the other thing that I can see the Bengals losing if on offense they go back to the first 2 weeks, right? If they go and play like they play against the Jets, then Miami has a decent defense. They're not a pushover defense. They have a decent defense. But obviously the Bengals have the firepower. I don't know. I'm feeling like 17-27 is what I'm thinking. Q.
All right, I got a couple questions. One is Lou Anarumo really going to run out that cover 1 that he loved running out there? Like, this got to be the week where he's like cover 3, right? Like, he got to run.
He can be cover 1.
It's tough to run cover 2 against them. Like, no, like it's got to be cover 3. You don't want to run quarters because you can get blown by in quarters a lot. People don't really know that, but like you're gonna want to be in 3. You gotta imagine Dax Hill's gonna play if they're gonna be in heavy 3 this game, because then you can put Von Bell, put him shallow. You could even put Von Bell linebacker and have you'll have Cheeto follow, and then you could probably put Eli Apple kind of in a deep set zone so he doesn't have to worry about comebacks, and then have Dax Hill on that other side. That's what I assume they're gonna do. If they do that, they'll be fine. But like if Lou Anarumo decides to go, back to his cover 1 bag, which sometimes Lou does inexplicably, like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes he's just like, you know what? Cover 1 works, and he just roll out that cover 1, and it just leave Jesse Bates out there just hopeless, just on that scene, because it's like, what's he gonna do when it's Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill on both sides of that field? So I hope to God he don't run no cover 1. But that's really I think other than that, I think the Bengals, it's gonna be a bounce back game for them and a regulate kind of game, right? They need to get this one back. Miami, they just got one that they don't really, so they're not in a position where they need to win, right? The Bengals, they need to make up for 2 bad losses. This is one they can get back right here, right? So I think Thursday night at home.
This, Q, the last year Dolphins went over there, beat them. I think it was a Thursday game as well. And this could be a revenge game. This is the Bengals also saying, we're back. You're 3-0. We can take care of you and protect their home field. Go ahead, Q.
Yeah, definitely that. And I think what we saw last week out the Bengals is more what I think you would see out them than what we saw the first 2 weeks. I think we can admit that felt like an anomaly what they were doing those first 2 weeks. So I don't expect that to continue. And I think that they should get this win over Miami. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be super high scoring, right? I still think this is going to be a game in the low 20s. I don't think both offenses get it going enough, but there will be some spectacular plays in this. The matchups are kind of interesting, right? I think Cheeto, he's probably going to follow Tyreek, or do you guys just want to bracket Tyreek and just have Eli on him?
I think they interviewed him, and he said that he would shadow Tyreek possibly game.
I would almost want to favor towards bracketing him and then having Cheeto on Jalen Waddle, because I think that's more favorable for you. Yeah,
agreed.
But and we'll see how they come out and cover him. That's going to make everything, the game plan defensively for Cincinnati. I expect them to do normal things, right? Like cover 3 should probably be used a lot because they're a cover 3 and 1 heavy team. They better not come in with 1 at all in this game. That would be axing to get beat. But they will probably get caught in one or 2 plays, and they'll probably get a big play off of that. But I don't expect them to just like consistently let themselves get beat over by it. But yeah, I think the Bengals should win this game just because it's Thursday night at home. The advantage is towards you. I don't know how their practice situation has been affected in Miami, if it has at all. Like I don't think it probably has been affected, so that's not really a factor. But when you have that home field advantage, I saw that they brought up that bubble dome. They got the white jerseys on. Like they have all the incentive in the world not to blow this game. Cincinnati does, and they need this game. Miami coming off a tight win versus Buffalo, teams that have to play on a short week after a tight win, usually not playing at their best. So that's also another reason I would lean towards it. The coverage situation, like I really want to see what that looks like before I get definitive about this. Like, what's the game plan? Who they're bracketing? Who are they just going to cover straight up? And that, but they should. I think they should do this. I just have so much questions about the Bengals coaching staff at times that like it makes me not as confident that I feel like I should be given their personnel.
Okay,
I have a couple super chats before I go to Tony. Minecraft.
I'm back. That was the chat is very, very funny right now. There was I did not lose power. And who said this? David
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. That's
I know. As everyone says, the Lamar Jackson situation.
Oh, hey, it's the worst when you gotta use the bathroom on stream. People say all kind of outlandish stuff.
Minecraft here.
Gotta go.
Hoping for no undefeated teams by the end of the week. Avery Lap says
Rowdy every lap. Rowdy every lap.
Higgins got robbed. That was a touchdown.
Rule of cool. Listen, we need to enter. We need to get this into the NFL rule book. If it's cool enough, like who cares what the rule is? Like that was a cool play. That should have been allowed.
That's what the rule should be. I don't know if it feel like a catch, it should just be a catch.
Yeah, like like that was pretty cool. So,
and Houday Joe says, "Don't worry, Ace. They have Tua. We have Burrow. Easy
I don't
W."
know. Tua's balling this year. Tua's like a top quarterback right now.
And then
convinced in that statement.
Yeah, Bengals still says a Ravens fan has more faith in your team. That's sad. No, I mean, I think what Ace said is valid. I just think right now, I think Tua has played a good 3 games, right? This is not me saying bashing on Tua. I'm more saying that people are talking about Miami as a power offense team. And if you take one of the 24 quarters that they have, they will be an average offensive team.
Well,
that one.
No, I disagree. No. Disagree.
I would also add, I would say, Tua is in that range of quarterbacks, like Jalen Hurts, like a bunch of guys who aren't like that guy. That like the longer they have stretches of good games, the more nervous you are about the bad game that's inevitably coming. Like I think that's also something that factors in here. Is like I don't think we would all love for Tua to be good. I don't think any of us are praying for his downfall or anything like that. But like all of us here would not be surprised if Tua had like a 3 interception, 1 touchdown, like 127-yard game. We'd be like, oh boy, like it kind of feels like. I don't want to say Cinderella, but you know what I mean? It just don't feel like when you watch Jalen Hurts or when you watch Tua, are you saying, man, they really improved? Or are you like, I wonder how long they're going to keep this up? It's kind of like how people feel about it when Jacoby Brissett plays well. It's like, how long are you going to keep this up, right? How long can this last? Is that the feeling there?
I think both teams are surrounded by, I mean, obviously, look,
you're surrounded by
good offenses. Yeah.
That's the thing, though. Anybody in this situation is going to be surrounded. Matt Stafford, going to be surrounded by a bunch of talent, right? But the question is with those dudes, it's like, you know the bad game's coming. It's about when the bad game is going to come and how many of them they're going to be. And that's the thing with Tua is like nobody's convinced Tua is going to be a franchise quarterback. I mean, the Dolphins aren't even convinced. They tried to trade for one like 3 times this year. So the question is like, how long can he keep this up? And when he has a bad game, are they good enough around him to win a game still or win like a couple of those games when he's not good? That's the big question with the Dolphins.
Well, the other question with the Dolphins is, can they ever get this? Can McDaniel ever get this running game to be actually good? You know, because they are doing it single. I mean, they're the best offense in the league right now by EPA per play. And I disagree with the whole like if you take it's by EPA per play, they're the best offense in the league. I didn't say they're the best. This is a factual statement, Sonny. Factual statement.
Okay, I watched 2 games of them. I agree. So I didn't watch the Buffalo game, but the other 2.
Okay, but the Buffalo game. Here's the thing about the Buffalo game. They only ran 30. They ran like 38 plays in that game total because Buffalo had the ball for literally the entire game. And the thing about this Bengals game and the Dolphins is this sucks. You know, it's one of those things where like at some point during the year, I think we all do this where like there's parts of your brain that have to get reactivated when we get into football season. And this week was the part of my brain that got reactivated. I was like, oh, right. I really hate Thursday football because it ruins matchups. This is a week where if this game was played on Sunday, if this were Sunday Night Football, I mean, this is game of the week. I'm designing my whole weekend around watching this game. I can't wait. Right. But the fact that this game's on Thursday, Bengals are winning this game. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. What is the line on this game? I don't know if I've checked it recently.
I said Bengals by 10, by the way.
But I will put like response once again. Oh my God, I can get 3.5. The Bengals are winning this game. There's no doubt in my mind the Bengals are winning this game. The Dolphins defense just had to run 90 plays in the blistering heat. They were all cramping up. Every player in that game is like, yo, we're like going to die on the field here. Okay? I mean, every player in that game, those 90 plays defensively. Now you're telling me on a short week they got to come back? I mean, I already talked about my Steelers, like, you know, going up against Cleveland and what that was going to look like. And I'm not going to blame that all on conditioning with the Steelers because the Browns have a good offense. But I mean, you want to tell me that this Dolphins team is going to turn around in 3 days after what they did against Buffalo, and they're going to defend Jamar Chase, and they're going to defend T. Higgins, they're going to defend Tyler Boyd for 4
Tony,
quarters?
pop that for you.
Yeah.
Over or under 3.5 yards per carry for Joe Mixon. Is this the game because they're tired? Is he going to break it? Is he going to get 4 or 5 because he's been at 3?
I don't like their offensive line though. You know, it's I don't like that. I like over.
Remember, P. Ryan kind of was
P. Ryan was doing some stuff. Yes, no, but I think this is gonna be a big play game. I think the Bengals are gonna be I think the Bengals on Monday are gonna be rubbing it in my face that they like had 3 70-yard plays in this one. Like, see, Tony, where's your regression now? Like, I'm already preparing
How many
myself.
points do you think Miami can score in this game?
How many points is Miami gonna score?
Yeah,
I think they can get the 20s, but I think the Bengals are getting in the 30s. I mean, I think the Bengals are gonna look like Bengals fans.
But I'm not the only one here, Q. I'm not the only one. He's predicting a booty beatdown right there. He's saying
Tony.
Tony's saying,
nobody.
Again,
Tony did predict
3 days of conditioning. What are we talking about? Xavier Howard may not play in this game. And again, he's questionable going into this one. You know, Tua and his back and his ankle, by the way, back and ankle injuries.
Back and ankle.
Yeah, back and ankle.
Back of his head.
That's why he stumbled when he got up. The only reason why he stumbled when he got up, by the way.
And then the hurricane as well, right? The hurricane thing, like they didn't even get to practice or something because they had to hurry up and leave before flights got and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I'm all in on the Bengals winning this game easily on Thursday.
Yeah.
I think this is a really fun matchup that I think is getting ruined because it's a Thursday game. I think the Bengals are going to crush them.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to predict the booty beat down because
I'll bring them here. Booty beat down.
This is reverse. This is a reverse one because remember,
but
we've been predicting them booty beat downs for the Bengals first 2 weeks and they lost. So like this is cruel what y'all doing to my boy Ace. Okay, this is cruel and unusual.
To do anything.
I'm doing this to my.
I was responsible. Remember this, Bengal fans. I predicted a modest victory. They predicted booty beat down. So if y'all get engravened like we did when the Ravens were playing the Dolphins last year, I was like engraven in the building, Ravens by 40, and then they lose by like 20. That's on y'all. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Yeah. But again, Miami was the home team.
And please do make us lose power. And if you do, please make sure that it's stored by Thursday AM because I need that.
Yeah, I know. That's the other thing about this weekend is like, you know, our Ace and I are going to see these.
Don't know if I'm going to have a stream, guys.
If I were y'all, I would want the power to go out today because just get it over with before the game starts. You know what I mean? Just like let it. But if it's coming on Thursday, you like, oh man, is it going to happen? Might happen during halftime. Imagine it's like close in the fourth quarter with like 6 minutes left. Joe Burrow got the ball and all of a sudden now you rush it to your phone that you forgot to charge because you was watching the game. And now you're like, I got 50% on my phone. Now you got to ask your wife how much percent you got on your phone because you know it's irresponsible to run that battery out, right? Like, but you want to watch the end of this game. You know what I mean? I don't know if you got Amazon Prime Video on your phone. You might have to download that, get the password.
Is it real? Can I really get Bengals by 3.5?
Yeah. I think by 10. But my reasoning is a little bit different. I do think the Bengals, the Dolphins coming hurt on a Thursday night on the road is not great. I actually think the Dolphins are a little bit overhyped. I know that's your boy, Tony.
Regression?
I know he's your boy.
I can get 4. I really want 3. 3.5 would be nice. I mean, look, if there is a way that the Dolphins are going to win this game, it's because Mike McDaniel. I mean, if the Dolphins do win this game, there
we go.
Mike McDaniel should just give him Coach of the Year right now.
I was waiting for it.
McDaniel is a good coach. I think that's why Tua is playing better because when you have a guy like Andy Dalton, like we have an elite play caller, they're going to make them look better and put them in better situations.
Even when Andy Dalton had his best year of offensive coaching, he still was good for them Andy Dalton games. I'm just saying, like we know the Tua game coming where it's like, oh boy.
I do think, look, the Bengals last year, remember, one of the things about their defense is that they gave up so many big plays. They were one of the worst defenses when it came to giving up plays of 20-plus yards. And obviously, you know, there's no team that's more dangerous when it comes to the explosion than, you know, Jalen Waddle, although Waddle may not play. Waddle's questionable. If you guys saw that. Waddle might not play. Waddle's got like a groin.
Put me down. Dax Hill, 2 interceptions in his debut.
Wow. Do you think they're going to run 3 safety sets in this?
They have to.
So no DJ Reader. Then I see. This is the game. I wonder if McDaniel tries to run the ball and keep his defense off the field.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said that to Ace.
Can he resist trying the idea that he could possibly match up Eli Apple or Tyreek Hill, and can he like resist that ideal?
No, I think he can.
You can run the ball. You can just do like end around stuff. Once you get the running game going, it's all going to spiral.
Yeah.
He was straight up said in the press conference that if he sees Eli Apple on Tyreek Hill, he's taking that shot. He said it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's so hard to pass up. That's so hard to pass up. I don't think they're going to pass it up. On a short week, too? Nah, they're going to keep it simple. They're going to throw that thing.
No, but they haven't tried. Remember,
what about his back, though?
The whole offense is predicated on running, right?
If it's his back, that's worse.
Think about this. If the Bengals start also coming with pressure and they can establish the run, that alleviates the pressure a little bit, right? I told this, Tony, when you were in here, I said the only way I can see this being close is if Miami runs the ball well. Because if Miami runs the ball well, now the defense has to change, right? And how they going to change? Well,
are they still starting Greg Little?
Wait, are they going to? You think they're going to sit in too high the whole game, and Logan Wilson's going to be at Tampa too, and we're going to get another?
They have to be. They have to be in some at least two safeties
with no DJ Reader.
Yeah. Because if not,
who they got behind him? Who they got behind him now? They got DJ Reader. Where they had
Josh Tupou.
Okay,
Josh Tupou. He's pretty solid.
Did they lose
there's
one?
Another Jay Etouffee or something, or Touffle or something like that.
Which I had last year.
Signed him before the season.
Ogunjobi. They had Ogunjobi last year.
No, I know they had Ogunjobi, but they were starting DJ Reader and somebody else when Ogunjobi went down. They don't got BJ Hill no more.
No, they do have BJ Hill.
No, we still have BJ is the starter now. But he's going to primarily play three tech.
They'll be fine.
But generally,
they're not going to have a plus at the position, but they'll be all right.
Generally, Reader plays nose, but they'll have probably Tupou. And I think I've heard the Jay Touffé. We just picked them up like before the season.
But they're good enough at edge that I wouldn't be too concerned. That's the thing with the Bengals. Yeah, they're good enough at edge that like it's not like it's going to be a. The Browns are getting away with getting like dudes who barely NFL quality, and then when they have Clowney and Miles out there, like you can get away with a lot if you have good edges, and they have good enough edges. And Trey Henderson's pretty disciplined in his run fit. So and Sam Hubbard, that's his thing, right? Ain't he just like disciplined hustle guy?
Ace, you can tell us better, right? Aren't the splits with and without Reader when it comes to the run defense like just astronomical?
Oh, it's night and day, bro. It's night and day. DJ Reader is the reason for that run defense being top 10 for sure.
I will say though, when you see splits like that, it's usually something that, okay, if you know he's not going to be out there for a week, you can plan around. It's different if he like was in the game and then you lost him and then you're trying to run DJ Reader plays without DJ Reader. If you don't have him in there,
short week.
You can adjust and just be like, okay,
that's why it should have been a Sunday game. NFL sucks. But Thursday
we won't be going wide 9 as much, like stuff like that. You can condense the line so there's less space, and like they'll be able to figure that out.
Yeah, but then that leads to a lot of like, they can do the Tua end around stuff or like the edges.
Well, they got the best linebacker in football, Logan Wilson, so they ain't worried about no end arounds, right? You know what I mean?
You got Hubbard holding the edge. Yeah, I think that's his name, Jay Touffé. He's going to probably be the other nose. They have Zach Carter, but he's just another 3 tech, so he probably wouldn't be replacing DJ Reader.
Soul Train here says, I view Miami's offense like the 49ers if they had 2 Deebo Samuels. Make above average QBs look better than they are, like Jimmy G's Super Bowl run. Rio Diaz says Steelers regressing after week 1 Super Bowl.
They regressed in that game. I mean, remember
they were regressing at the second quarter.
I think the regression started as soon as the offense took the field.
Week 1. What do you mean?
Once Trubisky hit the field, I was like, okay.
Hey Q, are you concerned with David Bell not getting much separation / targets?
He's been getting okay separation. He just ain't getting targets right now. I mean, like they're prioritizing David Njoku and Amari Cooper, and I can't say that's a bad idea, right? Like
playing well.
Yeah, if as long as they're playing at a peak level and defenses, the thing also is like there's not really many defenses the Browns are going to play when they're this worried about Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt that are going to be playing coverage to the point where they're going to force Jacoby to get to his third read, right? Like that's not what they're going up against. A lot of it is, hey man, we're just going to try to stop the run and maybe take away your first read, but other than that, it's not about to be let me get it to my third or fourth read kind of offense, which is why he's not really having that much production because it's just not coming down to it a lot.
Ray Rack here says, if the Bengals lose this game, is it time to panic? I think it's a little too early, although that will be 2 losses in the AFC. I don't know. I think it's still
1 and 3. And they got some
There'll be 3 AFC losses, right?
Yeah, and their schedule coming up, I believe, gets really difficult. Don't think
they lost to the Cowboys, so it'll be 2 AFC losses.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh and then
they beat the Jets at the end of the year.
Yeah, and then this one.
Whose stretch gets really difficult right after that? Oh, it's Cleveland.
It's Cleveland. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
it was supposed to, but then the Chargers, we don't know who's healthy for them.
Well, yeah, the Chargers are charging.
The Chargers keep losing people by
Patriots.
the minute.
Patriots are
Yeah.
decent, but they're not like as great.
Wait till my dog Bailey Zappi comes in. Oh,
but there's a back-to-back Tom Brady, Josh Allen week, so like it's going to stiffen up at some point. You know, I think Baltimore's in there too. So
you got Miami in there too, right?
Yeah, somewhere in that stretch. Yeah, I mean, look.
Miami.
As early as possible, we get to at least 5 wins. I'm taking it.
Ray right here says, I hope Tony and A stay safe with the hurricane coming. And Soul Train here says, said it to Tony earlier, but I hope A stays safe. And everybody that is in Florida, please stay safe. Make sure you're in shelter. If you need to be in shelter, just don't do anything crazy. Just be safe. Bengals.
No, I'm about to go for a walk after. I'm about to go for a run after this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I can't. So let me a mini sidetrack. I used to raise birds. Love birds. I used to have like 20. They were outside, and the hurricane. I went out to check on the birds to see how they were doing. They all were like, they went to the little corner between the 2x4s, and they were like in a line and like freaking out. Yeah. And then when the eye passed to my town, then they went to the other side. That's the wind.
Like
to the other side.
That's what you need in the football stadium for kickers. You need to have like a bird in there so they could tell you wind direction more accurately. I mean, like it's actually a good idea. It sounds like a dumb idea, but it's actually
love that.
Idea. Just have a bird cage on the sideline.
Minecraft here says Bengals really making me hype with the white outfits ready.
Boy, y'all losing them all white uniforms with the all white field. Oh boy, stay off Twitter.
It's gonna be a great uniform matchup. This is gonna be a great top 5 uniform matchup.
That's why I want the Bengals to win. I want them to bring that white uniform back. You know what I mean? But if they imagine they get beat and it's all kind of like Joe Burrow's white uniform looks all nasty because he got sacked like 10 times. Like
they're gonna wear it again this year
to get nasty. You know what I mean? It's bold of them to use all white.
They're wearing it. They're wearing it in all their big matchups where they don't think they can win. So they have it coming up one.
Oh, it's like when the Steelers would do the color rush.
Yeah,
right?
the color rush exactly. Yeah. So the next time the Bengals are going to wear it is their next big game, and they're the huge matchup for them when they face Mitch Trubisky for a second time.
With the color rush. You know, we have never lost in the Bumblebees or whatever.
Bumblebees were undefeated. That's true.
The dope part about the color rush is. So this is the first time we were in the white helmet, but the first time we debuted the color rush, it was actually against Miami.
Oh, that's right.
It seems like yesterday was really that's one of the interesting tidbits is that they decided to against Miami again on Sunday Night Football again.
We're losing Ace.
Yeah, we are losing Ace a little bit,
and that makes me sad because
let me say this. So
he is coming.
2 polls. Browns had the 78% of the viewers voted for the Browns, and the Bengals Dolphins 53% voted for the Dolphins.
Wow!
Chip on your shoulder, Bengal fans.
Wow! Yeah, I don't know about that.
With Joe Burrow throw for 300 yards, this gonna be Bengal fans tweeting. I heard y'all said Jamar Chase couldn't catch no more. You know how like.
Okay,
Sonny, did we pay bills already?
Yes, we did a half-assed job, but we said that they're great shirts.
We invented titty sweat.
Quincy did good.
Right.
No, Q did good. Yeah,
they would never let me read that ad again. But you know, I feel like I stole some t-shirts.
Best t-shirts in the game. Head over to True Classic, AFC North Talk.
Yes, for sure. Okay, let's talk about the Steelers Jets, the marquee matchup of the 4 of us.
That's Ravens Bills. That's Ravens Bills, dog.
Let's talk about. I think Wilson gonna play.
Yeah, Zach Wilson's playing. They said that today.
Oh, Zach, I was like, man, that's even worse. That I thought that was Russell Wilson that they were gonna play, and I'm like, man, that's gonna be a boring ass game to watch.
Well, Garrett Wilson may not play in this one though. That is another injury. But
it's not looking good for Wilson.
As I see this game for the Steelers, you know what Zach likes to do? He likes to test the safeties. At least last year. We'll see this year's version of Zach Wilson.
Does he test them or does he gift them? Like that.
Well, he tries to test safety. He tries to test them, and then usually the The safety passes the
Zach
test.
Wilson be blessing him.
Yes, blessing is a good word.
Zach Wilson makes safety so much more money. Like Zach Wilson, I bet Mika saw Zach Wilson was ready to play. He's like,
yes.
Yeah,
he's
sad he signed
time,
that contract already.
I'm trying to hit an incentive on this contract.
That's true.
Tony, what do you expect from this game?
So the Steelers do seem to be. I mean, for anyone who listened to Mike Tomlin's press conference on Monday, or was it? No, it was yesterday. It was Tuesday. He sounded dire when it came to the injury report. He's like, "Oh, Minka's in the concussion protocol. We're not sure if Dotson's going to play. Right? That's the left guard who's back up is Kendrick Green, and no one wants to see that. Punters hurt. Like even the punters hurt. They're not a healthy punter. Witherspoon. Everybody's hurt. It's like, oh my goodness gracious. But it does seem like, even based on today, and I know it's only Wednesday, so obviously you got to wait till Friday really to get a better read on these things. But Minka practiced today, so obviously when we talk about the concussion protocol, fully practicing is like one of the last steps before you get cleared. The only guy who didn't practice is Akilla Witherspoon. But as I told you guys on my last show, I've already come to terms with this, boys. I mean, the James Pierre, I was 1 year early on the James Pierre hype train. We're getting back on board this year.
Peninsula.
Pierre Peninsula, that shirt's coming back. Don't worry, I'll see you guys on Monday.
The thing I forget about the Pierre Peninsula is like there's no peninsula in Pennsylvania. Like
it's like it's if you just imagine where the three rivers come together, if that's like a peninsula. Yeah. If you just imagine that's a peninsula.
It's a piece of land with a river running through it. That's
well, you got to be creative. You got to be creative when you're inland like that. Look, for the Jets, I do. I joked about this all Monday, but it wasn't even a joke. It was serious. Like all the Bengals fans that were so happy after beating the Jets gave me life because, like I said at the time, I want to go there. I want to feel that again. I want a get right game for this Steelers team because boy, does it feel like. It feels like ages ago that this team beat the Bengals in the way that they did. And instead, we kind of been mired in this, what's going on with the offense? Who's more to blame? Is it Trubisky? Is it Canada? Is it both? What's going to happen? When is it Kenny time? Is it ever going to be Kenny time? Are we going to have to watch 6 more weeks of this? Right? So the fact that they're getting the Jets this week does give you the idea that they could, kind of wash that bad taste out of your mouth. But for me, I think the storyline of this game is this. I think this is Trubisky's last stand. Because I wonder. Look, I know that
we said that
Tom was doing
week.
this whole like definitive
last week.
Well,
he stood.
He stood.
Last week was the first time where you said, okay, this is realistically where it could happen, right?
Yeah,
where you said, okay, that's like realistically okay. If it's not then it's the bye week. But here's the thing: you look at this Jets game, you're like, oh well, Trubisky has to have a good game here, right? Because like it's the Jets, so like the Jets have one of the worst defenses. The Steeler offense at least looked better last week, even if it still wasn't good. Trubisky wasn't horrible last week. He put some nice tape out there when it came to, certainly his accuracy was better. The deep ball to Deontay, I think, was one of his best balls of the year. But here's the thing. I think Tomlin may regret not going to Kenny this week because I don't know that Trubisky's going to have a very good game. And in fact, I'll not be shocked if we're talking about Monday, the Steelers losing this game and this offense really looking bad. Because who do the Steelers count on for every big play in this offense? Right, every time it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7. Who are we going to? What's the same? It's the same play every time with them. It's Deontay's. We're going to find Deontay in some man-to-man where he's going to win his route. That's been the entire Trubisky experience. Trubisky is not a timing guy. He's not an accuracy guy, right? I mean, this is not a guy who's going to throw into some windows, right? It's just I need to see it open, and the one guy I can see open on a play-to-play basis is Deontay Johnson. And who's he going up against in this game? I don't want to. I don't want to Sauce. And I don't want to overplay Sauce through 3 games.
Before you keep going, Tony, because both Ace and Q play him, but I play him in week 1. When we play him, I'm just curious with you two, did he always sit on the right side? With us, he always exclusively. I cannot remember him on the other side.
Did he not travel? Does he not travel?
With us, but that was game 1. I can't remember.
I don't want to be that guy, but it's different when you talk about traveling with Rashad Bateman, and it's, you know what I mean. Like
that
was my point. That's what I asked in Q and Ace. Did he travel?
Yeah, did he travel against Amari Cooper? I think
he did travel against Jamar, if I remember right.
Oh, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Jamar one of them dudes you travel with him, even if you don't travel, you travel.
Okay, so
So if that,
I don't know though. I don't know if he did or not because he might have stayed on the side because there was the play that T caught the deep pass on him as well, where they hit T over the top. So he might be staying on one side.
Yeah, he might be
that would be great for the Steelers because then they could just run Deontay to the other side. Because look, here's the thing:
Chase Claypool out there, anyways.
Or Pickens, because it's not like it's not Pickens runs one route, right? I mean, the numbers on Pickens running go routes is absurd.
It's all he does.
Go route,
and then run sauce off the play. Just run sauce off
and
the play.
And then they'll run the comeback. Everyone's let's run a curl here. You run curl and go, curl go, curl go. The defender doesn't know what they're gonna get. Oh, is it gonna be the curl?
1-9.
No, but look, these numbers with Deontay, he's got a 31% target share, right? Meaning that 31% of targets are going his way. That's the fourth most in the league. But it's even worse than that because you look at wide receiver target share, 50%. I mean, he is. They are going to Deontay, now, especially on those money down situations. And so, if Sauce does a good job of shutting down Deontay, where is the ball going in this offense? We've already talked about they don't use the middle of the field. Yeah, it should be moved.
Throwing it to Moose.
It should be moved. Listen, the fact that I'm even saying these words, these words tells you why Kenny Pickett needs to come into the game. Because we're talking about where's the ball going to go if it's not Deontay, even though they have a 6'4", 220-pound slot receiver, okay, who is a size mismatch for literally every slot corner in the league, and they don't use. I mean, have we seen anything from this offense where they're like, wow, that was a really great
I think it's Tomlin proving a point. Don't pass it to that guy. He's just going to
the thing that's weird is that they got Pat Fryer moved too. They got George. There's so many options.
There's so many options. There's so many options in this. I mean, and that's what I'm saying.
Mitch is like, I'm going to roll right and throw that thing to Deontay.
And then, I mean, it's just like, let's run sprint right and throw it to Claypool on an out route. And, the other thing about that sprint right play, they run it they literally run it every drive. Every drive, like sprint right, sprint left, sprint right, sprint left. Are they ever going to run variations off of it? It's one thing to have a lot of the same looks and a lot of the same calls, as long as you run variations off of it, that you keep defenses guessing. But I don't know. Whatever.
They don't trust hard enough to plant and then throw opposite field.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, I do feel like, look, what's going to happen? What's going to happen in this game if Trubisky goes out there and this team puts up 10 points, right, or 6 points or something bad, right? Because this is not out of the realm of possibility. Then you got Buffalo in Buffalo next week, where the Steelers are right now 13-point underdogs. The Steelers are 13-point double-digit underdogs to Buffalo next week. Are you putting Kenny in that situation? Are you putting Kenny in against Tampa? Are you putting Kenny in against Miami? At some point Kenny's got to come in because this just can't
after the bye.
How legendary would it be if Kenny Pickett came in and beat the Buffalo Bills?
Oh my goodness!
Heel Tony will come.
I'm telling you, it wouldn't be enough for Heel Tony because it's really got to be against a division opponent. Really, Heel Tony is a very
Heel Tony
case.
Wouldn't be in studio that day, but we'll get a vignette like when they used to do the wrestling in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Exactly. That's right. Yeah, you get like a promo package for
Tony, this soon. Game is what? What is the line?
Steelers by 3.5.
So you taking that line? You don't even take the 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would. Well, because I think this could be. I think this field goal game, right? So it's over a field goal.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So but I think the other thing with this game is look, all this Trubisky talk can go away if they get the running game going. They've not been bad in the running game.
They ain't gonna run this game. That's the one thing. I don't think they're gonna run. The Jets did a decent job against the run. That's
Quincy Williams is out of this game, so he will not play.
That's where CJ mostly thrives.
Jets are good against the run. I will say that. Yeah. I noticed that from the Baltimore, the Cleveland game. It doesn't seem like it, but if you hold Chubb and Hunt under 200, that's a pretty damn good.
It held Nick Chubb to a smooth 80 and 3 tutties.
Yeah, that's the three.
Just Tomlin, just put Kenny in the second half. Why are we even doing this? Why are we doing this, man?
Tony's
just put Kenny in. At some point in this game, I got to see Kenny because if the Steelers lose to the Jets, where are the wins coming? We're talking about a top 5 pick. If this game don't go the right way, where are the wins coming? And when is Kenny coming in if he's not coming in this game?
We're not going to let Kenny go out there. I think this has become a stubborn thing for Mike Tomlin. This isn't even the right football move. I just think he told somebody at some point he was not going to play Kenny Pickett year one. Yeah. Somebody probably was like bullshit, and now Mike Tomlin's dug in. You think I'm lying? He not playing, and now he's in that Mike Tomlin mode where he's about to prove a point to everybody. And he got the job security to get away with it. He can win 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, he can do whatever he wants.
Not going nowhere. So he's probably proving the point to somebody in the front office. You think Kenny coming in? Not while I'm here.
Tony, anything else?
I love this super chat. It's absolutely right. I usually get my college bets in on Thursday.
You can read it. Go ahead.
Yeah. He says, I love thinking if the power goes out for Tony, he'll waste his phone battery to make sure he gets his bets in. That is 100% true. I usually get, although I won't have my algorithm. I probably need to print out the algorithm results today because I have my own power rankings that I put together, and then it generates lines for me, and I bet against those. So yeah, that's a good. By the way, Ray Rags, huge here because I got to print those out so I have them tomorrow when I put my bets in.
Professor Chaos here says, Q, is Brownie the Elf our terrible towel? You disrespect him at your own.
Oh, it's like the belt for Aaron Rodgers. Don't disrespect the belt.
That's right.
I hope we can build it to that. Nobody really disrespected the elf though. Like, maybe like the commentators, but I haven't seen.
Andrew Filipponi did.
Oh, hey, Filipponi did. Yeah, he don't play for the Steelers though. You know what I mean? It's not like Juju out there doing TikToks on the logo.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing really tangible there. We need somebody to visibly like when the Titans decided that they jumped in the terrible towel on the sideline, like they were stomping on it, wiping their butt with it, and then they like a 13-point lead or something like that. Like that's when it becomes a thing. But it's gotta be something like that for it to become a thing.
Dark Taco here says the eighth looks like Mike Tomlin.
What?
So I've heard Kareem Hunt. I could see the Kareem Hunt one, but
yeah, without dreads.
Mike Tomlin is like Omar Epps for sure.
Yeah,
okay.
Look just like Omar Epps.
Q.
I never thought of that.
Q.
Oh, you never seen that meme? Oh, that was like when he first got hired. It was basically like house meme.
I ain't never gonna be able to watch Love and Basketball again.
Yeah.
Just be thinking about Tomlinisms the whole time. Play for my love.
Yeah.
Well, this game is for the game that we want to play, and we got it. The standard is the standard.
The standard. Nameless great faces.
I don't play for love. I play for the game.
Q, what do you think about the Steelers? Do you think the Steelers go 2-2?
Nah. It's Zach Wilson. I have no faith. Yeah, I still am going to go 2-2 here. I have no faith in Zach Wilson. Absolutely no faith.
If it was Joe Flacco, you would have given it to the Jets.
I would have given him a chance more.
Yeah,
with Zach Wilson, I
wouldn't have liked to play Flacco. I don't like, Steelers don't have great.
Yeah. Joe Flacco has experience against that defense. He knows that system well. Like, you can finagle 14, 15 points out of that just alone, and maybe you get like a turnover and get some easy points to get to 21. Hey, Zach Wilson don't know nothing about nothing. And then he's Zach Wilson, which means he thinks he can make these throws that he knows he shouldn't make, that people know he shouldn't make. And that's just going to mean more space for Minkah Fitzpatrick, right? The one reason why the Browns were able to take Minkah Fitzpatrick out that game was because they had schemed Minkah Fitzpatrick out that game. They were like, we're going to make Minkah bite and then look at where he bites and go that way, right? Like, that's what the Browns did. That takes patience and a concerted effort by the quarterback. Zach Wilson has demonstrated none of that. Zach Wilson going to throw that ball exactly where Minkah bites, and Minkah's going to get himself at least the interception here. I wouldn't be surprised if he got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm doing a LeBron joke. But I got you. But it's I just don't, that alone takes me out of it, right? The fact that it's Zach Wilson going up against this defense, and this is a defense that if you're an inexperienced quarterback, not just a good or bad quarterback, but inexperienced, you're going to fall into a lot of those Tomlin traps, and he's going to fall into those Tomlin traps. I don't even think this is his first time playing this defense, but who cares? It's Zach Wilson. But defensively, the Steelers' offense probably not going to be able to do much. But they weren't going to be able to do much no matter what the defense was, right? Like the Steelers' problems are bigger than just who they're playing every week. They're bigger than that, right? So they're going to finagle their 14 points they get every week, and they're probably going to get like a field goal. We know the Steelers are going to get to 17, right? Like they're going to get to 17. The question is, do they get to 20, 21, or 23? I think they get enough turnovers, right? The the precedent has been set that the Steelers need 5 turnovers to get to 23 points. I think they get the 5 turnovers to get to 23 points and win the game.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? If Joe Burrow could throw 4 interceptions, was it 4 or 5? It was 4 interceptions and a turnover versus the team. What do you think Zach Wilson is going to do? Who is just Joe Burrow with all the turnovers and none of the good shit, right? Like that with the turnovers turned up a little bit. Like he's even worse with it. No. I have no faith in Zach Wilson to win this game. But it would have surprised me if he had a good game simply because quarterback play has just been weird this year. You know what I mean? Just the QBR has been weird. So, of course, I would be wrong. But in my logical brain, no way. No way Zach Wilson beats the Steelers. No way Zach Wilson has any level of success or doesn't turn the ball over a ton versus this defense. He's going to do it. It's Zach Wilson, y'all. They're going to get to 2-2, and we're going to be like the Steelers are the worst 500 team, and we're going to do that thing with them. But, you know, they 500.
I will say this to add, because there's not much we can say really about this matchup.
Also, Kenny Pickett ain't coming in because Mitch ain't gonna throw that many interceptions, and that's the problem, right? Mike Tomlin's not gonna bench him until he starts throwing.
Well, there is rumors out there in Pittsburgh that there are a lot of people in the building. Like, well, there was one report today from Florio, which I'm not sure I believe, but I think he's exaggerating a report that is true, which is that there are people in the building that are already calling for Kenny right now. Florio said that Tomlin's the only guy who doesn't want Kenny. Everyone else is saying we got to go Kenny,
and that's the only guy that matters.
So exactly. No, but the only concern
I don't think Omar gonna get him to make that move. Like it is what it is.
The only concern that I have, but they just really don't have the O-line for it, is if the Steelers don't put any pressure. Right? If the Steelers come and they cannot pressure Zach Wilson, then Zach Wilson could just be there sitting pretty in the pocket. Then it can get dicey. Other than that, you know what the score is going to be, Tony?
You worried about Zach Wilson in the pocket?
No, I'm just saying that he has a lot of time. That's all I'm saying.
The more time he has, the more excited I would get if I were a Steelers fan. That means more time for him to make a poor decision. The only time you don't worry about Zach Wilson is when he gets rid of the ball quickly because you're like, he saw something, he got it to it, boom. All right, you're worried about that. If he holds the ball and has to think about it, that's when he makes his worst plays. He's going to roll right, throw across his body, think he at BYU. Like, nah.
Oh, the other thing that this could bite the Steelers is the running game, right? If they start running the ball well, then play action, then they can hit them with. But the score, Tony, this is just for you. 11-10.
11-10? Another one?
Another one.
Does Minka get an obvious touchdown at the end of the game that the refs take away, and so it should?
It will be 11-10, and then they'll get the reverse Browns thing that happened, right? Where they try to the Jets try hook and ladder, but instead of it being a fumble, Zach Wilson just throws a backwards interception to me.
How I see this is this game is gonna be so bad. Minka's gonna pick 6. They're gonna tie. They're gonna be 10-9. It's basically game over or overtime. And Tomlin is going to say, you know what? F it. We're going to go for 2. We're going to go for 2.
Put Kenny in for the 2-point conversion.
Let's kill
this. This
is going to be the game.
The Kenny chants, by the way, are going to be absurd in this game. The Kenny chants are.
Even with Mitch there?
Do I think that the Kenny chants are going to be absurd? They were already
at home?
Yeah, this is a home
game. Oh, this is bad for Mitchell.
Yeah, like if they don't come out and do anything offensively, the Steelers fans have just watched them lose 2 games that they felt like were winnable, and now you got the Jets. And if they fall to the Jets, I mean, if they're down to the Jets at any point in this game, the Kenny chants are going to be definite.
Do you think they could put Kenny at halftime? Let's say you guys are losing, I don't know, 13-3.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Tomlin did that at the second half of the Bengals game in the Duck year. That's when Duck came in. Was in the second half of that Bengals game.
Mitchell gonna go 3 and out one time at that stadium, and it's gonna be boo.
Yeah, well, it'd be half boo, half Kenny. Yeah, yeah.
No. It's gonna be just a loud boo, and then Kenny's gonna come in, and it's gonna be like Stone Cold in '97 came in the building. Like,
yeah, they're gonna be quiet in the crowd. They're gonna be doing this stuff. Like, hey, let's everybody chill.
It's hard to tell. Look, I know from watching Baker Mayfield the last couple of years, it's hard to tell the crowd to be quiet when they too busy booing you on offense. Like, that's not gonna.
Amari got that treatment in Baltimore, his first playoff game. Right, we couldn't do anything against the Chargers. I was there.
It takes 2 bad drives to get the booze.
And people were like, "Put Flacco," and Harbaugh like, You're rolling with Lamar.
Playoff. You could never know. You could have given up a Super Bowl that year with. It could have just been a random. Could have been a random Flacco year. That could have been the random Flacco Super Bowl year, part 2.
Tony, what if he does bench Mitchell, but then like Mason Rudolph comes out of nowhere?
Listen. I've been saying this for weeks, man.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the inactive report to say that Kenny's inactive and Mason's active. That means that he's thinking about making a switch.
Right.
Ray back here says, if the Steelers put in Kenny and he plays bad, will they be rock bottom for the Steelers fan this season? And you are welcome, Tony. I'm only here to feed into your bad habits.
I said again, my bad habits. I have had the betting season of a lifetime this year. I was telling the guys, I got banned. I'm no longer allowed to live bet at the sports book that I use because I took them for quite a bit because their live betting total algorithm is just, it's all jacked. But as far as like if Kenny plays bad, is that the end of the world? No, because like every fan base, do you think Steelers fans are capable of doing like, this is rookie year, man? This is rookie year. This
is what he's supposed to look like.
Yeah,
everybody forget before Mahomes, rookies didn't look good.
Yeah, like dude, Josh Allen had a terrible rookie year, man. He's fine. Peyton Manning threw like 30 interceptions. Like we're all
Big Ben wasn't even that good his rookie year. I mean, he won the Super Bowl, but he didn't play well.
Tony, all the Steelers have to do is bring all of his friends to the game. It will distract Zach Wilson.
I feel like Zach Wilson would play better distracted than if he's focused.
That's true.
Ace, you have any other thoughts on this game?
Yeah, in this game, it's going to be very interesting. Like the one crazy stat that I found about the Jets. Do you know that no one knows the more in the NFL than the New York Jets? Number one in the league, Joe Flacco through 3 games? It was like passes a game. It's ridiculous how much they're really going out there and doing. The biggest thing is, even with that many throws per game, they're not really scoring, right? They're 20th, 10.3 point game. Getting yards, they're just not doing anything. They're 10th in the game.
Ace, you're being choppy.
Ace, they have the
Ace, you're coming in and out.
You said
we can barely understand you.
Yeah, your internet is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, try disabling your video in StreamYard and see if your audio comes through.
Yes, audio. Yeah.
Just audio.
All right. Is that better?
Oh, yeah. Much better.
Yeah, it's much better.
All right. For me, the Jets, they struggle to score 17.3 points per game, even though they're passing the ball much. Number one in passing attempts. They're not really doing much offense. The thing that confuses me. Good running name is what is his name?
I can't hear you.
Ace, unfortunately, you're still coming. You're still like kind of robot in and out. Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
I'm going to rejoin from my phone.
Okay. But what Ace was saying, one of the things that I kind of catch out was he's saying because Flacco, I think he's averaging like 50 attempts per game, which is insane. I'm like, really? You gonna didn't you just draft a running back in the 2nd round, right? And you had the other kid, Carter? No, it's not Carter. Is it Carter? Anyway, the other running back is decent as well. So I'm like, why are you making Flacco throw? Like, I get it, I guess Baltimore. But I guess their OC, whoever it is, as soon as they go down, they just say, okay, let's just pass. F the run. We're just going to go pass. And Flacco loves throwing to the running back, which is essentially a run. So maybe that's why. Tony? Uh-oh. Tony got frozen. Q? Am I the only one here? Uh-oh. Yeah, Tony left. Q, are you there? I'll read some super chats while we figure this out. Q, how long does Nick Chubb keep the rushing yard title? Okay, Tony, you're back?
Yeah, no, it's the hurricane is here.
Gotcha. Okay, well, you know what? Let's move to the Ravens because I don't know how much longer we have from you guys. So let's move to the Ravens, the marquee matchup of this week. And I'm gonna start with both of you since I don't know how long I have you all here. Tony, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I think this is a much like I said with the Thursday game. The questions for me about Buffalo and conditioning, because again, that was another team that they were out there for 90 plays. Obviously, their whole team was cramping up, so what they can look like. But we've talked about this Baltimore defense and whether or not they can be trusted. Well, right off the top, like here we go. The first week we're saying like, hey, well, can you really trust them? They're going to go up against what is an intriguingly dangerous Buffalo team, although they are kind of one dimensional. Buffalo seemingly is not a great running team, but they don't even. I don't even think they try. Right? It's almost like they run the ball just because like you can't have Josh Allen drop back to pass 65 times a game. So like we just kind of run the ball and like, all right, let's just mix that in while we keep doing Josh Allen stuff. Allen's having a great year. I watched pretty much every play of that Miami and Buffalo game, and obviously we watched him in week 1 as well. I mean, everything seems to come so easy for him in this offense, and with this, with the group of receivers he has. So I'll be interested to see how Buffalo or how Baltimore is able to cover, as far as in the secondary, like who are they going to put on Diggs? Are they is it Humphrey on Diggs the entire time? They're going to switch it off there. Gabe Davis and what he represents as a deep receiver. I think he's playing in this game, or he went down last week.
I think so.
Yeah. But again, they are so one dimensional, and their offensive line isn't very good. But then we go back to that point that you kept bringing up all year, which is Baltimore really can't get to the passer. And not only is Baltimore going to have a hard time getting to the passer, but then Allen's so hard to bring down in the first place. So like even if you do get to him, he's so good at this point in his career of making things happen outside of kind of outside the play and extending. So from that perspective, I think it's advantage Buffalo certainly. But then on the other side, of course, Buffalo's defense is, I mean, they're starting to be the walking wounded all of a sudden. Obviously they lost Micah Hyde for the year. I think Jordan Poyer went down last week. I don't know what his status is going to be.
I think he's not playing this game.
Yeah, he's not going to play. So they're going to be down 2 safeties. Lamar is like the best deep thrower in the league again. He did this at the beginning of last year. He's doing it again.
Let me add this. It's supposed to be very, very bad weather.
Oh, is it? Oh, so we're going to get like a low scoring, neither team can run the ball game? Because did you think Dobbins was healthy? Dobbins is clearly going to take some time to get back into it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it felt like to me too. Like I expected, Dobbins would come out and maybe have some explosion, but it didn't really look that way. Now again, just it's going to be a matter of like how long does it take for him to get his feet underneath him. Yeah, I mean, I'll take Buffalo on this one. I'll kind of go chalk. It's Buffalo by 3. I know it's in Baltimore, but I still think Buffalo is the best team in the league. The question for them though is like, how are they going to deal with? They were a team that was going to play too high. They were like the number one example of we're going to sit in too high all game, and we're going to make you beat us in other ways. And now they lost both their safeties, so that's going to matter for sure, and it should certainly matter in this football game. That's why I won't be surprised if Baltimore wins, but I still think Buffalo is the best team in the league, and so I'll go with Buffalo to win the game.
Okay, Ace.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
All right. Speaking on that Jets game, I just think that's a recipe for disaster with them throwing the ball too many times with Zach Wilson. I think that will lead to turnovers for the Steelers being able to take advantage. I don't know why they're not using Bryce Hall or Breece Hall. He's a great running back. That is the key. If they want to beat the Steelers, you have to do it through Breece Hall. I don't think that they do that. I think the Steelers end up getting the turnovers, and I think that leads to a Steelers win. Talking about the Buffalo versus Baltimore game, Buffalo is hurt. I'm not sure if those guys are coming back, where there's Dawson Knox and Gabe Davis coming back this game or not. But the thing for me in this one, I think that's really the deal breaker is the Baltimore defense. I've talked about it. Currently right now, last in the league, going against this Buffalo offense, they're going to have to make some plays. I think that Stephon Diggs against Marlon Humphrey is going to be a tough matchup for them. Now, if those other 2 guys are out, that's going to favor Baltimore. When I say other 2 guys, I mean Gabe Davis and Dawson Knox. If those guys are in, then that's going to present some problems because Buffalo is a good offensive team. And the other thing is they're good defensively, right? We don't we don't really recognize, or a lot of people don't talk about how good they are defensively. I think that's what gives them the edge in this game. But Baltimore is right now the number 1 scoring offense, but Buffalo is number 3. So I think the defense will be the factor in this game. Which team plays the better defense? If it's Baltimore, if they're able to create some turnovers or limit him like the Dolphins did, then maybe it's that. If not, then I think it's going to be a Buffalo win over the Ravens.
Okay. Q, looking clean over there.
Yeah, I have to get dressed. I have a class after this, like right after this. So if you're wondering why every Wednesday I'm frantically running around during like the last 30 minutes of the show, that's why I'm doing that. Or like trying to fit a meal in. That's why I'm usually jam-packed on Wednesdays and Mondays. But yeah, this is interesting, right? If it is a bad weather game, like Sonny is kind of saying it was. By the way, we got a Fitty Mom in chat. But yeah, if it is a bad, the hurricane is worse than Trubisky. If it is a bad weather game, then I would favor the Ravens because Lamar in that kind of game becomes so much more valuable than he already is, because now you're not worried about the run game. You're just worried about miscommunication on defense and what they're able to see. If Lamar is able to just get his feet planted and get going on that downhill, he'll be dominant. Other than that, though, this is going to be the Buffalo Bills by at least a touchdown, I think. Josh Allen, this offense, this defense, just too much for Baltimore. Baltimore is a really good team this year, but this is not a team to where I expect Baltimore to make the AFC Championship. I'm not saying like it would be out the realm of possibility for this team, but this is not 2019 Baltimore. This isn't what we thought 2020 Baltimore was going to be. This is a Baltimore team that were like, hey, they got Lamar, so they're going to be good, but we just don't know how good. And that's the issue. I think the Bills are they really good. Like, you know, they so good that if they don't make the AFC Championship game this year, people gonna start looking at that sideways. I think people gonna start talking about Josh Allen a little bit different in his playoff success. So, you know, that's gonna be what I think happens. Bad weather's probably Baltimore's only chance. I know this game is in Baltimore, so maybe that changes things. I saw somebody in the chat. I do pay attention to these things. They say, hey man, JPP, he's gonna play this game. When Tony was talking about pass rushing. Okay, JPP will play. Cool. Still doesn't change that you're still very outmatched.
Is Rodney Stanley playing this game at left tackle?
So that's ... He they said that he practiced a lot. Basically, I've been saying that he was gonna play against the Bengals. That's what I'm thinking.
We need a website. Has Ronnie Stanley played yet.com? No.
So, but the thing is, he's been practicing, but Harbaugh basically has been like, you know, with everybody that's injured, like, you know, we don't want to rush anybody, blah, blah, blah. So we don't know. So the reality is it'll be a game time.
Give me a 1 out of 10 meter. How tired of you of John Harbaugh?
Of his speeches, about 7.5, 8.
Like in general, just deal it. Like you've dealt with John Harbaugh for what better part of 20 years now.
He's 15. He's going 15.
You're 15. Years. How tired of you of like the Harbaugh stuff, right?
Yeah, the Harbaugh stuff. Yes, I am. I wouldn't say that I would fire him. I love him as a coach, but he sometimes gets too preachy.
I mean, he learned from Ray Lewis, right?
He did very late from Ray Lewis, but Ray Lewis excited you. John Harbaugh.
So Ray Lewis could play. John Harbaugh can't go out there and make something happen at number one.
The one thing is, players do love John Harbaugh. The players always rave about Harbaugh, except when he got into the team and Quinn Bowling hated him. Pollard, all those alpha players. Anyway, Q, how long do you think Nick Chubb keeps the rushing title this year?
The whole damn year.
Yeah, I agree. Tony and Ace, I hope. Yeah, shout out to Brown68 with the big donation of Fady.
Shout out to you, bro. Appreciate
it. So Tony and Ace, I hope you guys stay safe out there. What do you guys think of Joe Woods using Ronnie Harrison as a linebacker this weekend to combat injuries in the linebacker room on passing down this weekend?
Go Daryl Patterson ain't actually good. Like, that's what I hope is that, you know, I don't like Ronnie Harris is okay at linebacker. John Johnson can go in there. But Sam Taki played really well to me last week. I think he deserves to get time. I think Tony Fields was good last week in limited time. I think that they're deep enough in the linebacker room to where they don't have to panic. Now we'll see who comes back this week, right? Look, I always caution people when they see the Browns injury report, it always looks shocking. It's been like that ever since Kevin Stefanski's been here. He puts everybody on the injury report, and he doesn't practice everybody every day. So it's always going to look alarming, but then end up game day, all those dudes play. So we'll see what happens here with the injury report. It's really hard. It's the reverse Tomlin thing where Tomlin doesn't put anybody on the injury report. What Kevin does is he puts everybody on there, so you don't know who actually is hurt or not, right? Like that's just the gamesmanship there. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with injury. Ronnie, as long as he's not playing free safety, I'm fine.
Okay. Well, let me say about this game because I think this is a very interesting game. So forecast right now, it is rain. It's checked. I like the Bills a lot this year, and the Ravens are not there yet on defense. I think Ace hit it in the head. I think both offense. Let's say they're equally as good. I think the Ravens are a little bit more complete because Lamar gives them that extra element on the running side, but. For whatever you want to say, the Ravens a little bit better, Buffalo's a little bit better. Let's just call it even. The problem is on the defensive side. Buffalo did lose both of their safeties, but Buffalo still can pass rush you. They defend well. And the Ravens right now, they have their moments, right? There's moments you're like, that's the defense that I thought. And there are other moments that you're like, WTF, what is going on? They just lost Michael Pierce. Right, so that's gonna be a big loss in the middle of that D line. But the other problem that they have is, I know the shot of whoever said it, JPP, right? Oh, JPP, probably. Houston may or may not play. I mean, I think he probably will play. And then you have Owe, and then you have JPP, 3 outside linebackers. That's all you have. Right, you have expectations that 2 more are coming from injuries. They might bring the kid that they brought last week out of the practice squad, but at this point, you're putting bodies out there, which is not great. I'm having a tough time predicting a Ravens win this week, but the only reason I'm going to do it is because Lamar looks like a man on a mission. If they lose, I think it's because the defense is going to let them down. If you have Stephon Diggs in your fantasy team, just play him. Play him. But
if Lamar wins it, this is going to be the give me my money game, like where everybody's like, well, he's getting whatever he wants.
Well, he also, I'm curious to see what does McDonald do, right? He knew how Miami attacked him. He had a good game plan to the fourth quarter. How does he attack Josh Allen? Does he blitz a little more just to get some pressure and still have a safeties in the back end, right? That worked well when they put it against Mac Jones, but
there's
Mac
just so
Jones
little you can do against him, right? Because if you blitz him, that's a terrible idea. If you mush the rush against him, it's a terrible idea.
But you cannot go all out blitz. I guess my point will be, will you bring 5? McDonald, which I cannot remember when Wink did this. McDonald likes to bring 3. And with 3, every time we brought 3, the quarterback there is just vibing and hitting us for 10 or 15 yards. So saying that, I'm going to go, 33-30 Ravens. It's going to be it's going to be contested. So we're going to wrap it up with there. Shout out to Ace and Tony. Stay safe, my guys. Thank you for everything. We'll be back on Monday. Obviously, big Thursday night game on the division. So we'll see you next time, guys. Peace out.